The house on Maple Street. I always knew there was something off about the house on Maple Street. It was the only house on the block that was always dark, with no lights on at night. It was old and run down, with broken windows and peeling paint. It had been vacant for years, but for some reason no one had ever tried to sell it or tear it down. One day I decided to investigate. I made my way to the house and peeked through the broken window. What I saw inside still haunts me to this day. The walls were covered in strange symbols and markings, and there were candles burning everywhere. In the centre of the room was an old ornate mirror, but the mirror wasn't reflecting my image back at me. It was showing me scenes of another world, a world that was filled with darkness and despair. Suddenly I heard footsteps behind me. I turned around and saw a figure approaching me from the darkness. It was a woman dressed in black robes and carrying a dagger. She spoke in a language I didn't understand, and I felt a cold chill run down my spine. I knew that I was in danger. I tried to run, but the woman was too fast. She caught me and dragged me back into the house. She tied me to a chair and began chanting strange incantations. I watched in horror as the world around me twisted and distorted. The candles flickered and the symbols on the walls began to glow. I felt like I was being pulled into another dimension, a world of pure darkness and evil. As I looked into the mirror, I saw visions of creatures beyond my wildest nightmares. They were twisted and distorted, with eyes that glowed with an otherworldly light. I realised I was looking into a gateway to another dimension, a portal to a world beyond our own. In that moment, I realised that I was never going to escape. The woman had claimed me as her sacrifice, and I was going to die in that house, never to see the light of day again. As she raised the dagger to strike, I felt a surge of fear and despair. I knew that my fate was sealed. I was going to become a part of the darkness that had claimed the house on Maple Street. But then suddenly there was a bright flash of light. The symbols on the walls began to fade and the candles flickered out. The woman let out a scream of rage and frustration as the portal closed before her eyes. As I stumbled out of the house, shaken and disorientated, I realised that I had narrowly escaped a fate worse than death. The woman had been attempting to use the portal to summon creatures from beyond our world, creatures that would have brought chaos and destruction to our world. I never went near the house on Maple Street again, but I could still feel its malevolent presence, a reminder of the darkness that lurks in the corners of our world.